guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWOrkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "Thank You for the New Phone and a Limp." A while ago, while I was in my break from the retail store that I work at, I was shopping in the electronics store directly next to the store I work at. I was wearing the store uniform, which is a very distinctive red and khaki with a jacket on top, as well as my name tag, which very clearly states what store I work at. Anyways, enter crazy mom and her 4 kids. I hear this piercing whistle from behind me a few times, so I looked over my shoulder because crap damn it was loud. And this lady is barreling towards me with her kids in tow. As I turned to her to see what all the hustle and whistling was about, she grabbed my wrist and knocked my phone out of my hand. I then look down and can see glass shards everywhere as the phone is smashed to hell. So I give her the classic "what the duck lady," to which she responded by hysterically screaming that employees should not be texting while working and that I should be ashamed of keeping her waiting because I was texting. I then turned away and she kicked my ankle as I walked away. I tripped, sprained my ankle, face planted, and nailed my shoulder on the shelving. Her kids started laughing and pointing. About this point was when an employee arrived and was able to help me up and see if I was okay. Now she finally thinks for a second and a whole new look came over her face as she realized that I don't work at this store in the first place. Then another new look as I told the employee to call the police. She started pleading with me that it was just a mistake and that she was just having a bad day. Long story short, she was arrested on assault charges and eventually had to first replace my phone. Second, was given 350 hours community service. Third, I was awarded a decent sum of money, and my personal favorite is that she has to pay for and attend therapy sessions for the next 3 years. On account of her rage issues. The next story is titled "He's Not a Doctor." Yes, he is. I saw him on TV. So I've had a friend since college who's a great guy. I love him to pieces. But I've occasionally considered ending the friendship because his wife is so jarringly dumb. For the life of me, I do not know what he gets from her. Okay, I do. She's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in real life. But even still, I don't know how he does it. She's sweet, she means well, but there are sandwiches more intellectually stimulating. A while back I had a friend visiting, Camden, and she was dropping her kids by to hang out with mine. I invited her to stay for a bite to eat because yes, she's exquisitely dumb, but she's perfectly friendly. Camden's been trying to break into acting and he recently had a bit part on a TV medical drama. So I brought it up, saying, "Camden just recently had a small role as a doctor on this show." She went, "Aw, that's so exciting. Congratulations. That must not be easy, to get a job there. So, what kind of doctor are you?" And he explained, "Oh, it was a very minor role. I didn't get a specialty or anything, I didn't even get a name." And she laughed and went, "Well, we all feel that way when we first start, regardless of what job. Just keep working hard, and you'll get all that stuff over time. But don't sell yourself short. It's not easy to be a doctor." And he took the compliment and went into how he went about playing the role, the body language he tried to adopt for the intensive care unit, that sort of stuff. Then she cut him off and went, "Actually, you know what, if you wouldn't mind, my son has actually had this oblong cyst developing on the small of his back for a couple weeks now. I'd really appreciate if you could take a look." So we both laughed, thinking she was joking, and I was impressed with her uncharacteristically high-level joke. But then she actually started to call her son over. It's just like her to start a funny joke and then take it way too far. Camden, confused and weirded out by the whole thing, started saying, "Oh, no, hey, they didn't teach us any medical stuff for the part. I can't, help you with this." I jumped in and changed the subject, but she left shortly after. I'd long since given up on trying to explain to her why some jokes are funny and others are not, so I thought I'd let it be, even though she seemed kind of miffed when she left. Later she came back to pick her kids up, and by then Camden had gone home. As she was leaving she remarked, "You know, it was very rude of your friend not to at least look at my son's cyst. It would have taken him, 10 seconds. I hate how doctors think they're above helping anyone unless they're getting a check. Didn't they take an oath to always help anyone who needs medical advice or something?" So, as I processed the pure bitterness in her voice, I realized she genuinely and truly thought Camden was a medical doctor. So, convinced I must be misunderstanding her, I further reiterated, no, he's an actor. He played a doctor. On that show. You've seen the show. It's not a small production, it's like Grey's Anatomy or House, everyone knows of it. And, even angrier now, she said of course I have, I know all about it. It's one of the best hospitals in the country, why do you think they put it on TV? Being in the spotlight like that, you'd think he'd try and be a little more professional with people. That's all I'm saying. The surreal mix of entitlement and delusion in her statement left me dumbstruck, and I decided I must be misinterpreting this somehow. Because there was no way any grown adult who votes, drives, works, and has kids of her own is that stupid, not even her, so I just let her leave rather than risk offending her or embarrassing myself. As soon as she was gone I called my friend, her husband, to try and catch him before she was home. I relayed the whole series of events to him, and his response? Oh that. Yeah, it's a problem. But it's not entirely her fault. Oftentimes those shows use stories ripped from the headlines of the actual news, you know? So you can see why she gets mixed up sometimes. She bumped into Camden at my anniversary party not too long later and asked him, with genuine concern, if a character on the show who'd been in an accident again, on the show was recovering well. He tried telling her in plainer terms, I don't work there. I'm not a doctor. I just played one that one time. And she said she was so sorry to hear he'd been let go, and where was he working now? So, if you wonder how our country ended up where we are, know that she has a bachelor's degree from an accredited college and holds a job with several subordinates and partial responsibility over our city's water supply. So advocate for education reform whenever you can, and enjoy these twilight years of the great American experiment. The next story is titled I'll Park Where I Want to. I live in Michigan, and we get a lot of snow. Snow that needs to be shoveled, so that we can use our sidewalks and driveways. After a snowstorm that left about 9 inches on the ground, my mother decided that she would be coming over to my house for something. I knew my driveway had to get shoveled for her. As I went outside, I noticed a car parked on the street blocking my driveway. The entitled male driver, M, was waiting for his child to get out of the junior high school, on the next block, to give him a ride home so that the poor kid wouldn't have to slog his way home through all that snow, insert eye roll here. And since I'm out shoveling, the kid can just use my clean sidewalk and driveway to gain access to the car. So I signal to M that he needs to move as this is my driveway. M opens his newspaper and proceeds to read it, totally ignoring me. So I start shoveling. 15 minutes later, about halfway through my shoveling, I stop and try to get M's attention again by knocking on his window. M looks at me, then goes back to his newspaper. Frustrated, I go back to shoveling. Then I got the awesome idea. I took the next shovelful of snow and, instead of throwing it over to the grass on the side of the driveway, I threw the entire load onto his front windshield. M looked up, I ignored him, and threw a second shovelful of snow onto his car. M started yelling at me, so I just shrugged my shoulders and signaled him to move his car. After some choice words, he did. My mother was able to pull into my driveway about 10 minutes later. I have absolutely no idea where M finally parked to pick up his child. Not my monkey, not my circus. The next story is titled So You Can Shop But I Can't. A few years back I was a store manager for a denim brand in a big mall. One day somebody drove into a power pole or something, and one half of the mall's power went out. Luckily for my team and I, we were on the now dark side. Power outages are generally loved in retail because you have to have all customers leave to store due to safety. Then if you're lucky, it's too dark to accomplish any work. So you sit, and wait, and get paid. At least until an impatient customer comes along and expects the circumstances and their rules to be different for them. It'll just be us, says the 40-something father next to his clearly embarrassed 15-ish-year-old son. We'll be really quick, we only want to try on a couple pairs. Bottom line and easiest excuses include, it's against policy, and/or I can't put your safety at risk. I was feeling frisky and went with, sir, even if you could see what you were doing in here, I don't have the ability to ring up your purchase. So unfortunately no. He was annoyed, but they walked away. I had been looking into getting a new phone at the time, and like every mall, there was a cell phone kiosk right outside my store. It was daytime, so the skylights allowed me to still see my options. While talking with the cell phone guys, I get a text from a coworker inside the store. It just said turn around. Standing at my store again is the man and his I don't want to be here son. And the way the man looked at me can only be described as the best resting idiot face a man in cargo shorts can accomplish. After a few more minutes I head back to my store where the man says to me, "So you get to shop but I don't?" Retail employees rarely get their way, so I decided to truly enjoy this moment. With the biggest, happiest of customer service smiles I responded, "Sir, you are absolutely right. Enjoy your day." He later returned to inform me that he'd bought our products at Macy's and gotten them 30% off. Oh, and that I should be ashamed of myself. To which I replied once again with the biggest of smiles, "Macy's carries our outlet line, which are 40% off online currently. I hope you enjoy our products. Sometimes the customer isn't right, and it feels so good." The next story is titled "I Don't Work Here Lady Vacation Edition." So, I'm on vacation with my family. The hotel we are staying at has a nice free breakfast. It has one of those waffle machines as well. We walk down to eat breakfast. I'm wearing Batman lounge pants and a t-shirt. I make everyone a waffle because dads are the best. Really, because I don't want the kids to start pushing each other around hot metal. After I hand the waffles, I finally make mine and start to sit down, when I hear I'd like 2 waffles. Obviously, I ignore it and sit down with my family. The lady follows me and says, "Crazy lady, didn't you hear me? I said I wanted 2 waffles. Me. Yay, I heard you. The breakfast self-serve. You must make them yourself. Crazy lady. I just saw you hand out waffles to these people. Get off your butt and do your job." Me. These people are my family. I don't work here. I'm on vacation just like you. Crazy lady. Listen here, you lazy. Crazy lady's kid. Look, mommy, he's wearing Batman pants. She looks down, sees my pants. It finally clicks and she starts making her breakfast. Her husband walks up afterwards and tells me he's sorry and offers to buy me us lunch on him. He hands me a 20 and says sorry again. The next story is titled "Karen Mistakes Me for a Manager, so does the employee she's abusing." I'm on my way to a meeting with customers, and I realize I have forgotten to bring along a pad. Popped into a store along the way, and as I'm scanning the shelves looking for a small pad, I notice Karen yelling at a young employee at the other end. Keep in mind that I'm just wearing a nice shirt, tie and slacks. Nothing to indicate that I work in that store, or anywhere else for that matter. I guess I made the mistake of looking her way for a second too long, because Karen immediately stormed over toward me. You're the manager here, you need to deal with your employees." Before I have a chance to correct her, she launches into a tirade about how worthless this poor kid was. She was swearing more than I do, and I swear like I was raised by Samuel L. Jackson. I glanced over at the employee, and he's white as a sheet and shaking. I looked at Karen and gave her my best manager speech about how I'm sorry she had a bad experience and that I would take care of the problem employee immediately. She proclaimed something along the lines of "I would expect so," and walked away as fast as her cankles could manage. I walked over to the kid, who's still white and shaking. First words out of his mouth are, "Am I fired?" Turns out he had only worked there a couple of days. He honestly thought I was a manager too. I told him I didn't even work there, and that he should be weary of Karens in the wild. I have learned my lesson and will no longer go into that store wearing a tie. The next story is titled "Karen, Do You Need a Friend?" This is what I get for going to the store instead of ordering groceries to be delivered. So with the corona stuff going on, I've been dutifully staying in my apartment, like a decent human being, and limiting any time I spend outside. Unfortunately, this has been hell on my partner's mental health and the depression is real. So I decided, screw it. We're both food boys and he likes cookies. There's a Giant the next block over. So I get dressed, put on my sweet Disney mask, go on Etsy, the designs are wonderful, and head out to get my partner some cookies. Now for reference, my style is hobo chic. So sweats, sneaks, graphic tee, and a hoodie. Keep that in mind. I go into Giant and head for the cookie aisle. I'm considering if I want to do Oreos or if I want to be fancy and get Pepperidge Farm. These are the important questions of life. When an older woman who is very short asks if I can grab something for her off the top shelf. Of course I say yes because she was nice enough to ask. I'm a simple guy. I hand her the item and go back to my contemplation. As I decide to get them both, I hear the hem. I've worked retail and I've worked food service, so I know the sound of a wild Karen when I hear one. Me. What's up, Karen? What's up? Is that how you treat? I have zero in the way of spoons and even less patience. Me. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to look at me and try that line of thinking again. Karen. WHO the duck. Me. Hey, hey, hey. Let me tell you what we're not gonna do. I need you to woo, woo, woo and chill. I know you know better. Karen still looks mad but doesn't say anything. Me. Now I can help you find an employee if you want, but what you will not do is yell at me. I am only here to get cookies. I point at my stomach. I'm a THICCC boy. Me. Not that I need them. Karen cracks a small smile. Gotcha. Me. But at this point, I'm committed to this. I didn't choose THICCC life, it chose me. Karen starts to crack and laughs a little before all of a sudden starting to tear up. I'm 6 feet, 300 pounds, and black. A crying Karen is a bit detrimental to my continued freedom. Me. You okay? Karen. Yeah, it's just that this is the first time I've laughed in a while. My husband is in the hospital. Me. The virus? Karen. Yeah, me. I'm not sure if it means much coming from some cookie guy, but I hope he recovers. Karen smiled and walked away. While she didn't apologize for popping off, I'm glad it didn't escalate further. Her husband's condition doesn't excuse what I'm sure would have been an awful tirade, but it does serve as a reminder that crap is bad for everyone. The next story is titled I Guess I Work Here Now. A few years back I was at my local pub, for a couple of beers to watch my mate's band. I had just got off work so I was suited and booted. I was sat at the end of the bar and the place is heaving, busy. A drunk old muppet, Dom, sick of waiting at the bar smacks me in the shoulder and shouts I'm trying to get a ducking pint here. Get off your ass and serve me. I said mate, I'm having a drink. I don't work here. Dom. Yes you do. I've seen you behind the bar. Me. Maybe mate, but that was about 10 years ago. He grumbled something incoherent and ducked off for a bit. Barmaid. You used to work here? It's mental, but could you give us a hand? 2 staff have rung in sick and I'm rushed off my feet. I can pay you in beer. Me at the offer of free beer. Yeah no problem hun. I jump behind the bar and start serving. Dom comes back up. See I told you you work here. I'll have you fired. Now I want a ducking drink. Me. Glances at barmaid and raise eyebrows, she grins and nods. Me, smiling. You're barred mate. Now duck off. Free drinks all night, 20 pounds in tips, and a raging justice boner. The next story is titled Woman Berates Me at 3 a.m. for not doing my job. So I was working at a supermarket doing night fill stocking shelves after hours. One night we ran super late as we were short-staffed. I didn't finish till about 2:30 a.m. After I left the only place open for food was a 24/7 fuel station across the road that had a Subway. So I said hi to the staff, I was a regular, and got my sub and put in my headphones while I ate. I was just kinda zoning out as I had just finished a 9-hour shift so I was a little slow. A woman came in and went up to the fuel counter. The server was not there. 3 a.m. They have a bunch of other jobs to do out back, and they have a buzzer on the counter. So she's obviously seen me and moves closer. I'm oblivious listening to my audiobook. I look up when she's towering over me. Glaring. She says something. I take my headphones out. Me. Sorry? Her. I don't mean to interrupt you. Me. Oh okay? Now she's glaring full force. Her. I need you to do your job. I don't care if you're on break. Me. What? Still foggy. Her. I need you to get off your ass and do your job. She screams. Finally I get what's going on. I lean back and point to my shirt logo. Me. I don't work here. I'm from the supermarket across the road. Her. Don't give me that bullcrap. I'm in a hurry now, do your job. By now the server has come back to check on the noise. Server. Hey my name everything okay? Me. Ask her. She does an actual double take. She goes a bit red but rallies herself and glares at me again. She pays for her stuff and then in a loud as hell stage whisper says, "What's he doing here at this time of night?" Suspicious if you ask me. Then she leaves. The server shakes his head and we laugh it off. But the best part is a few weeks later. Same scenario at the same petrol place. I'm eating but more alert. She comes in, sees me eating and goes red. Me. Hey server, that crazy woman is back. I then nod at her. Me. Can I help you with anything ma'am? I don't work here but I know how upset you get with the truth so maybe I can pretend. Do some roleplay? If that would help. The server comes out, she buys some gum and leaves never saying a word, her face bright red. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.